Welcome. Episode number 6. We made it. We're here.
Of course.
We're live.
Of course. Did you ever doubt it?
Never.
Honestly, don't lie now, did you?
Yeah, just a tad. Nah, I'm joking, I'm sure. How could I? But guys, welcome back to the Unplug Podcast. Plug with your boy Freeman.
And your boy JP.
As always. And guys, I've noticed one thing, and I've actually got a bone to pick with all of you that's watching right now. 70% of you guys that are watching right now are not subscribing and are not liking. And that means that the algorithm isn't pushing all this value and all this juicy information that we're giving to you. And if you want this value, you want this advice, you want this unplugged mentality that we want to push down to you to be the highest version of yourself, please, I beg, like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, it helps us, and it just pushes us to want to do more for you guys on this podcast. So please like and subscribe.
Jeez, amen to that. Love that. So today's episode is about waking up early for your success.
Mm-hmm.
So, being an entrepreneur and a businessman and always striving for success, you kind of learn, I guess, traits and characteristics from people who are successful. We've spoken about it in previous episodes where if you want success, follow success, listen to successful people, right? Mm-hmm. And I know one of the biggest things that successful people talk about is the importance of waking up early.
Yeah. So
I thought it'd be quite good to break that down. What does that look like?
For sure.
Steps, all of the juicy stuff that we like to provide in the podcast. So
Always.
Do you wake up early? And don't lie.
Nah, I'm joking. But recently, I'll probably say in the last year, maybe like 30 months, I've actually now started fully waking up early by my own means, I left my job about a year ago, so necessarily I didn't have no reason, no boss or whatever to force me to wake up. And I saw a massive change. I was so anti-waking up early. Like, I would sleep through fire alarms. I would sleep through burglaries. Deep sleeper.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what I mean? So I'm a deep sleeper standardly. But yeah, I am an early person. What about you?
I am.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been an early person, just not because I've always known that it's a good trait to have. But I've always felt that if I slept over a certain time, I'm wasting the day away. I always hear this terminology, have a lie-in. I don't know what a lie-in is. Okay. The only time I have a lie-in is if I go out to a rave and I don't get in till 5 a.m. Then naturally,
of course,
I'm not rising till whenever.
Yeah.
But on a day-to-day, 99% of the time, I don't know what a lie-in is. I really don't. Having said that, my kind of getting up early back then was completely different to how it is now.
Yeah. And
what I mean by that is 6 months ago, I would be waking up at, 7 o'clock, 6:45, etc. Cool, whatever. And then I just felt like I wasn't having enough time to do important things with no distractions. And I've always known about the importance of waking up early. And that's the thing. You can always know about these things. You hear about these things, but you never implement them.
Yeah.
And it's only till you start implementing them, you think, oh my God, why didn't I implement this before? So I can't remember if I was watching something. I've read a book anyway. It's called The 5 a.m. Club. Check it out. 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma.
Okay.
It's one of them books that you need to have in your collection along with your Rich Dad, Poor Dads and Richest Man in Babylon's and all that. But the 5 a.m. Club. So I read this maybe about a year ago. And then I just felt like I was getting because of work, you're growing the business, you've got family, kids, etc. You're getting busier and busier. And I just felt like I didn't have enough time in the day to do what I needed to do or wanted to. Or, let me rephrase that, because that sounds like bad time management. What I mean by that is I felt I didn't have a point in the day where I could work without being distracted.
Yeah.
And not even avoiding people, because there's a big difference between avoiding someone and being distracted.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is now that I've started waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, I can't be distracted because everyone's asleep.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
As simple as you see it, like, who's distracting you at 5 a.m. in the morning?
It's a cheat code.
So I bought myself a good hour and a half, even 2 hours before I knew the world
Woke up.
And that has so many benefits, which we're obviously going to go on
and
speak about. But yeah, sorry, I know that was quite long, but
no, it's good.
I'm quite passionate about waking up in the early morning.
Yeah, no.
And one of my biggest things that annoys when people says I'm not a morning person.
Yeah,
and we can talk about that. 100%.
That. This is a passion episode for JP.
Very much so. Very much so.
All right, cool. So let's get a tad negative. What are the disadvantages, would you say, for someone who doesn't necessarily feel like they need to be waking up at these crazy hours? Because, you know, someone could argue like, well, yeah, no one else is up, so what could you be doing? Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, maybe like that's something that we could get into a bit.
I'm going to say something a bit controversial here. But I always feel that if you don't like getting up early in the morning, you haven't really got anything to look forward to. Because everybody will get up early in the morning when they know they got a flight to catch from Gatwick Airport at 4 a.m.
100%.
So you can get up early then. So it's not that you don't like getting up. You haven't got anything to get up early for. That means anything to you, that has purpose, that excites you, that gives you energy, that sometimes you don't even want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Let alone, you know what I mean? You don't want to go to bed. So it's like a 24-hour thing.
Literally.
You're excited about that thing that you don't want to go to bed, but you know you need to go to bed because you know you need to get up early to get back to work.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if you don't, you probably don't have anything that's important that you're trying to work towards. Okay. Tad controversial. Again, this is just my opinion. This is just my views. Just kind of saying it how I see it, really. Yeah. You?
I think for me, one of the disadvantages, I feel like a big thing I've been sort of working on the last sort of 2 to 3 years is discipline. And I think one of the disadvantages of not being able to sort of wake up early shows, like, again, a form of a lack of discipline, because it's a lot more than just going to bed early to then wake up early. Like, it's like you said, trying to remove all the distraction, making your yes mean yes and your no mean no, and sort of focusing your mind to the point where you say, okay, cool, I am going to be able to wake up early to be able to achieve or have this purpose to do what I want to do. And like you said, well, everyone has the ability to do it, because like you said, if you've got that 4 a.m. flight to Ibiza or wherever,
Dubai,
Dubai, you're
do it.
You're getting up, 100%. So, and obviously, like we'll touch more on it. We'll touch more on it again in regards to that purpose. But again, flipping it, what are the advantages? What are some of the advantages you've experienced or you think other people experience from waking up early?
Yeah, just like you touched on it a second ago. In order to achieve any level of success, you need to have discipline, right?
Yeah.
You need to have consistency. And I found that waking up early helped me to be disciplined. Because when that alarm went off at 5 o'clock, it was like, you have to get up no matter what. Cool. Anyone could do that once. Anyone can, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. But can you get up 5 a.m. every single day, even the days where you don't want to? Literally. Can you get up? And I found myself, I was able to do it. And there's a couple of reasons why. I, over the years, have not been a very disciplined person. So I always try and create situations or scenarios that allow me to work on my discipline. Because I understand the importance of being disciplined. And I knew if anything was going to let me down and not allow me to be successful, it was my lack of discipline. So yeah, just getting up early just helped me to just become more disciplined. And I always say this to you, just training my body to do the things that my mind probably doesn't want to do. Like, who wants to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning? But if you know you can buy yourself 2 hours of time to do whatever, again, you could show yourself some self-care. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, literally.
It doesn't even matter. But yeah, are you disciplined to just get up? And yeah, long short of it is it helped build discipline for me personally, amongst other things. But that was a standout thing, discipline.
Yeah. I think two things for me, definitely one. Two things for me, definitely one, discipline. It definitely helped me in the form of discipline and sort of like categorically saying this is what I need to do. And like you said, forcing your mind and body to do the things that you don't want to do. And I think the second thing was access. Unbeknownst to me, there's a whole different level of people and population of people who are getting up at 5 to 6 a.m. And because they're getting up at 5 to 6 a.m., they're probably clocking off at like 2 to 3 p.m. during the day. And by the time I'm probably getting to my rhythm, normally waking up at 9, 10, whenever I used to be getting up at, they're not available for me to get access on. So for me, I had a different form of access of people that I was speaking to. Like, for instance, like my gym that I go to, you know, like it opens from 6 a.m. And then people I'm speaking to, so what is it that you do? What is it that you do? Oh, you do this, you do that. Oh, how come I've never seen you? Mate, I've been going there for 5 years. I was like, I've never seen you here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, again, it just gave me access to a different
level.
Different
type of person.
And a different type of person.
100%.
And there's that common ground as well, immediately, right? Because normally when you have a first interaction with someone, like you're starting off from ground zero, you're now trying to find like sort of common grounds. But I know, and you know, that we're both early morning persons because we're both here right now. So we can both say, was it an easy morning? Was it a hard morning? What you on? What you getting up to? Etc. 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 So immediately, that's how I was building rapport immediately. Building rapport immediately. So it gave me access to a different level of people that have massively benefited me in my life and in my business. So I think those are the two things for me.
So as we like to do every episode, we like to talk about the practical steps of how we would go about implementing the topic. Obviously, today's topic is about waking up early. So we're going to give some practical steps, 3 steps of how we would go about implementing the wake up early strategy.
In terms of the first practical step, I'll go first with this. I think the first one is to identify and have a purpose. And we alluded to that, right? Because some people say simply, I'm not a morning person. I just don't like to wake up. But then we obviously understood we all have the ability to, because if you had a first class trip to Dubai, to Dubs, you'd be right out of there. You'd be right there. You'd be fine. You'd be snoozing, ready to wake up.
You'd wake up before your alarm wakes up.
Literally, you'd be gagging for it, right? So it's not an ability thing right now. We all know we have the ability to wake up, so it's now a purpose thing. And we often always sort of joke about it and say that if someone says they're not a morning person, and if I told you right now, I'll give you £1 million by the end of the year if you wake up every single morning, Monday to Friday. You would do it. Why? Because you now have a purpose. You now have a
strong
goal.
reason
to do this. So I think the first step for me is understanding your purpose, right? Understanding the purpose or the vision or the goal that you have in mind by doing this. By you waking up, saying if you're working a job and you're looking to do other things outside your job, or maybe like you're a graphic designer, right? And you work for a company and you now maybe want to start consulting for other people. And to build up your consultancy business, you need to allow a couple hours in a day to set aside. So maybe wake up at 6, spend an hour a day, just focusing on your business, or focusing on your business and doing what you need to set up that consultation business. And that's, 5 times a week, that's 5 hours. In a month, that's 20 hours.
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
A lot of undistracted time.
Literally. Undistracted time, just giving yourself that time to just simply focus. So I definitely think finding that purpose or that goal or that mindset of what it is that you want to achieve off the back end of this, and just giving yourself more time as well. So I think, that's my first practical step.
My first practical step would be to look yourself in the mirror and stop saying I'm not a morning person, and identify why you're not a morning person, why you're not getting up. Because it's one of my biggest peeves that I'm not a morning person. Step 1, stop saying that. Step 2, find a reason to get up in the morning. Find something that excites you, that interests you, something that, like I said, makes you get up before your alarm goes off. Same way a flight to, like we laughed about it, Dubai, or £1 million waiting for you at the bottom of your road. You'd probably, if you set your alarm up at 5, you'd probably get up at 4:30, 4 o'clock. You probably wouldn't even sleep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So step 1 would be just stop saying you're not a morning person, and find a reason to get up in the morning, because that will change everything. That 100%. Will change everything. So 100%. My step 2 is quite short. It led on 1 to 2.
Yeah. I think again, following off from your step 2, I definitely think, in addition to that, is also understanding your triggers. I think for me, one thing I don't do now is I don't sleep with my phone. I don't sleep with my phone either in my bed or in the same room as me.
Okay.
I think obviously in today's society, we're so phone driven. We're always on the phone. People can see their screen times as some of them on the double digits of the day.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Crazy.
And I think the biggest thing for me is okay, cool. If I'm getting ready to bed, I'll start doom scrolling or whatever it is. But for me, it's I charge my phone in a different room. So automatically when I'm going to sleep, my intention is to sleep, nothing else. Or sometimes even what I've now really started doing as I'm again to my reading bag, I bought sort of a mobile, I bought one of those torches.
Okay.
It clips onto the book.
Yeah.
And then you can now read at night.
Oh,
so
wow.
literally now what I'll do is I'll read literally in my bed, literally like in sleeping position, and then like it flicks it over, it clips it. You
a
read
physical
it.
book?
Yeah, it's a physical.
Bro, you know you can like buy Kindle books and you can read from a Kindle.
A bit old-fashioned.
Like technology, bro. You're a young guy. Like, you know there's a thing called a Kindle, yeah? That you can read any book
like
in the dark. Yeah.
I like
your flash torch. Nah, you need to stop that.
No, I like a good hard book. I like flicking, you know.
Old school and that.
I like flicking through the pages. But yeah, that's just me. But you could just literally obviously go to sleep. But yeah, I feel like for me, just having that digital distraction away from you. You know what I mean? So I think that, and understand like your triggers, like what stops you from going to sleep. Is it eating late? Is it having your phone around you? So I feel like in addition to yours, like understanding your triggers and what stops you from going to sleep, you know? So yeah, that was it. And what about...
Before I go into my step 3, do you know what's quite an interesting thing? And I just thought about it while you was talking. Is that I don't necessarily feel people don't get up in the morning because they just don't want to. They get up, or can't get up early because they go to bed so late.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, if you're getting to bed, and I know people who go to bed at 12, 1, 2 in the morning, if you're getting to bed that late, there's no way you're going to be able to get up early.
Yes.
But then you got to ask yourself, why are you up that late? What are you doing? And if everyone was to be honest with themselves, like what they're up doing till 2 in the morning, it probably would be scrolling social media, doom scrolling, watching the Netflix series. Again, is that now beneficial to you getting up early in the morning to maybe get something that's really important done?
Yeah, no, 100%. And even just another thought that came to me as well is like, again, don't quote me if I'm not a scientist, but I read something somewhere. It's like, a lot of the times, especially when you would go to bed late and you now wake up late, it's very, very bad for the brain to sort of wake up in that shock and it says, what time is it? Like your body shouldn't be in that aura and that energy or in that headspace of in shock. The first thing, like that's why they even say like when you get out of your bed, like you should rise up slowly because you need to allow all that sort of blood. You don't want that amount of blood rush going through your brain. It's like this like aside from like you said, sort of going to bed late and obviously trying to force yourself to wake up early, like it's just physically not good for you. You want to start your morning smoothly, calmly. When you're rushing, you're trying to brush your teeth and trying to send an email and trying to put on your shoes and your socks at the same time.
Chaotic.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's not healthy. Like you be forgetful, you forget stuff. That's how accidents happen. You know, people driving on the road, driving like a madman because you're late. Like you want to start off with calm, with ease and planned and prepared, you know? And even for me, like straight away, when I also wake up, you know, first thing, you know, wake up, wash my face, brush my teeth, and I read. You know, I just don't want to fill my mind with anything else. I'll just read, give myself 15, 20 minutes, have my coffee, have my porridge, and I'll just read. And that's how I start my day. You know what I mean? And then after that, I then obviously start planning. And obviously, yeah, as you know, we did an episode on goal setting as well, but, you know, I'm not going to give too much juice on that. Go watch back.
Have to.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think, that's, just a thought that came to me.
No. Please always share those thoughts. I know sometimes we're talking and I might say something that triggers a thought in your head and the same. So, by all means. Step 3.
Yes.
Step 3 for me would be just, I think planning the night before helps with the next morning.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if you plan your morning, or you come home in the evening, you start to wind yourself down, I feel the planning of the night before is just as important as the morning after. So I'm talking about things like making sure that you do go to bed on time. You do wind down your mind. You do kind of, if you're into that thing, kind of meditating or stretch, and you're preparing yourself to go to sleep, to wake up the next day feeling fresh. But you can't do that if you had a chaotic night before.
Of course.
So it's pretty much winding yourself down to prepare yourself ready for the day.
Yeah.
Because a chaotic night probably starts a chaotic morning. How many times have you been out late and then you wake up the next day and then you feel like rubbish and it just affects your whole day? You know?
No, I really, really like that. And I don't think I'm going to splice that up too much. I think definitely, like, you know, they say if you don't plan, you plan to fail, right? So I definitely think, especially if I have a big day or like I'm going up north, I'm going to see a couple of my properties, like, to my clothes, to my food, to my socks, to my shoes, everything, because now it's just like an easy sort of loop, right? Where my keys are, like, there's nothing worse. You're trying to rush. Where did I leave these keys, man? You know what I mean? it's the worst. Or make sure my phone is charged, making sure everything is done correctly. So I think, definitely sort of planning ahead of time, even as well, planning what you're going to do the following day as well, to go to that level. But definitely show sort of like small steps, little steps as well.
Did you know, there's a scientific, I think it's scientifically proven, that if you write your to-do list the night before you go to bed, when you go to sleep, your subconscious mind works at how to do those things.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So, top tip there.
Top tip.
Yeah, write your to-do list before you go to bed, read it, and then go to sleep. Your mind's working on it. It's the battle half done.
Nice one. Yeah, I'll start doing that, actually.
Yeah.
That's good.
So again, it's just one less thing to do, right?
No, of course.
If you can, a good friend of mine, he told me this quote, and for the life of me, I'm going to try and execute the quote as best as I can. So the quote was something along the lines of, do something that your tomorrow self is going to benefit from. So what that would be is, rather than me wait till tomorrow to iron my clothes, get my gym stuff ready, put out my cereal, get my coffee ready, I do it the night before.
Yeah.
So I've made tomorrow my best friend. You treat your best friend right.
I like that quote, yeah.
I need to find the quote. If you're watching, put the comment on the YouTube to say what the quote was. But it was like, tomorrow's your best friend. Try and be a best friend to your tomorrow, right?
100%. So I think that's really good as always, always giving the practical steps of how, we can always achieve what we need to achieve. And in this particular episode is always about waking up early for success. But guys, this is the next segment of the show called Plug Bites. Where me and JP share thought-provoking comments, quotes, theories, or concepts that we think will be massively beneficial to all of you guys listening, watching, and liking, and obviously sharing our content. So, JP, I don't know if you've got something for the people then.
Yep. I'm gonna be cheeky this week. I got two because I couldn't pick between the two.
You guys are in for a treat.
You're in for a treat today. So this one, funny enough, is from an actor, turned presidential candidate, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the quote is, obviously the whole topic is around, rising early for success.
Yeah.
He says, every morning you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them.
That's rude.
Every morning you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, bad man.
Tough. So I'm not even gonna try and go into that, because that's
self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Very self-explanatory.
Very self-explanatory. Yeah. And then the last one that I couldn't pick was early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Poetic as well.
Poetic. And that apparently was attributed to Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was an idiom. Idiom.
Yeah.
Thank you. Idiom. That suggests getting enough sleep and starting the day early will lead to success.
I like that one. That's really good.
So yeah, those are my two. Can you see why I couldn't pick between the two?
I'll be in the same as well. I think for me, so my plug bite. Let me get it up now. So my plug bite for today's episode. And I'm always having it short and sweet, and I quite like this. It says, "How big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail?" And that's by Samuel Noah. Again, I'm going to read it again. It says, "How big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail?" And sort of segueing that back and bringing it all in today's episode of sort of waking up early for success is like, again, sort of, if you knew like there was no chance of failing, you were guaranteed success, how big would you dream? How hard would you go? How far? For how long? And I feel like that for me just massively motivated me as well. And again, equally with the topic of this with the topic of this episode as well, in regards to sort of waking up for success. So if you know, and if you sort of have that mindset, it's like, I need to succeed, or I need to achieve, or I want and I need, it's a must. I will simply perish if I'm not the highest version of myself. You know what I mean?
But you know what I think that is as well? If you just listen to what Freeman just said, I think and again, just my personal opinion, that people just don't dream enough. They don't dream enough. They don't sit there and think, what would I like to do in this world that I could, I could do anything I wanted to do. And people don't do that enough. And it's quite sad.
Yeah, no,
because I feel like the minute you're able to turn the corner and start dreaming for yourself, start loving yourself, you just look at life very differently. Right, yeah. But then I feel a lot of people don't dream because they're scared of failing. Yeah. And there's an episode there, the fear of failure, you know. So yeah, that was profound. That was good. Dream. Imagine not being able to fail. You would have tried. You try anything.
You'd be unstoppable. You'd be your problem, a massive problem. So like again, like guys, like we are our own biggest enemies. You know. What's that Michael Jackson thing? Look at what's that man in the mirror. Well, yeah. But anyway.
I don't know where you're going with that. But
yeah. Well, like yes. I don't know where I was going for. But yeah. That's it, guys.
That's it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Please do.
If you're listening on Spotify, follow, share, spread that love. I want to shout out my dad actually, because the reason I want to shout out big up Pops. The reason I want to shout him out because I saw a friend of his. And they stopped me in the street and they were like, yeah, I've listened to episode 1. I've sent it to my son. We loved it. That's love. Like, it was really good. Yeah. Not to say I'm not showing love to anyone else who has shared it, but I actually had someone come up to me who my dad had sent it on to and said, it really inspired me, even made me think about it.
That's it.
So yeah, it just goes the power of sharing,
literally,
guys.
It doesn't cost anything, guys.
You know,
it doesn't cost anything to share, like, and just forward on a message or a link. So yeah, big up Pops.
Yeah, Pops, man. Mr. Senior.
Mr. Senior. Well, cool, guys. Love. Gang.
Elevate.